Praises to our Savior who granted us the freedom. Allegiance to the hero who fought along the gather.
Glory will rise and never to fall. Hearing a nation flowing with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation.
Hello and welcome to African Hour. My name is Fru Nde Nkimben, your host. Today is May 2nd, 2021. History is based on record of the past in arts, painting, and oral, and in writings from a unique viewpoint or angle. Each point of view should be complementary to create a true and comprehensive account of what really happened in the past. My name is Fru Nkimben, and you are watching a special edition of African Hour.
Fru sent me some photos from Cameroon, so I'm just going to throw this one up and ask Fru to try and work around me. This is the first of two maps.
Can I say something, Cliff?
Yeah.
I will start with a question. Every country has a southern part, right?
Yeah.
Can you point the southern part of French Cameroon? That is the southern part of the Republique of Cameroon. You see how it is spelled? With UN. And then you see the other one, Cameroons. That's the British Southern Cameroon. And the northern part of British Cameroon. Britain had to divide it for administrative reasons only. But the confusion now is Cameroon with the U, that's the Republic of Cameroon. That is an independent nation. But now they are saying the British, when we say the British Southern Cameroon, Cameroon uses the British Southern Cameroon as part of their southern country. But that is where I want us to clarify that the Southern Cameroon is an independent trusteeship under the British as well as the French Cameroon. They were two countries. So when we say it's British Southern Cameroon, we are talking about an independent country that was a trust territory to the UN as well as the French Cameroon. They don't have anything in common. The only thing that they have in common is the name Cameroon. That they were German colonies. You can go to the next one, Cliff.
Okay. The next map is coming up.
You can see now that partition. The northern part of British Cameroon. British Cameroon is the one in red, because Britain divided that in the 50s because of administrative reasons, just like we have states in this country. The northern during independence, Britain said, "Do you want you want your independence to join either Nigeria or French Cameroon?" Then the northern part voted to join Nigeria and became part of Nigeria. But the southern part, Southern Cameroon, voted to join as a federation with the French Cameroon.
I think it's important to note that that map was 100 years ago. It said 1919.
Okay, that map was around that time because you have British Cameroun and French Cameroun under the trusteeship of the League of Nations, because these were all German territories. When Germany was beaten at the war, they passed German territory to Britain. If you look the one who has a blue jacket, when we talk of the father of democracy in Africa, that is the first president, the first prime minister of British Cameroon. Nkrumah is in the middle. Nkrumah is from Ghana. Nkrumah was the first democratic elected president of the Southern Cameroon, is the one to the extreme, if you are looking to the extreme right, the one who has the traditional attire. That is the second prime minister of the British Southern Cameroon in 1959. So before that time, Southern Cameroon had done an election and a ruling party was defeated. They peacefully handed over government, transition government. You have never heard of that in Africa. And that is where we are talking about Southern Cameroon. So when Nkrumah became president of Ghana, he visited the Southern Cameroon to learn about this democracy, this first democracy in Africa. So when we talk about, we should celebrate the first prime minister of Southern Cameroon, who is Dr. EML Ndele. The world doesn't talk about that, but the Southern Cameroon is the first democracy in Africa. But the French Cameroon, they had their independence in 1960. Right up till now, they have had only one ruling party, and that is what goes on within the French colonies. If you bring it up so that you can see what is written below, you will see. Yeah, you will see that it said Dr. EML Ndele. Yeah, Dr. EM Ndele, first Prime Minister of the Southern Cameroon. Kwame Nkrumah, the first President of Ghana, and then Dr. John Gofoncha, the second Prime Minister of Southern Cameroon. Nowhere in Africa has ever been transitioned peacefully. That is where I really want us and the world to understand that when they talk of the British Southern Cameroon, French Cameroon has made it in such a way that because it benefits them. When they say the Southern Cameroon, we think that it is part of that country, and then they treat us as a minority, and they tell the international community that every country has a minority amongst them, that we are a minority in their own country. So this conflict should be an internal matter. When you look at what you are saying now, I think one thing that you will learn now is this is an international conflict, and the UN and France and Britain really help in this conspiracy. You ask yourself, how can a nation that was the first democratic country in Africa? Well, when you look at this, you see two maps. That is the United Nations representative. And the one who is in suit, that's the French Cameroon president, who has been there since independence, 1960. So when they were celebrating in 2010, their 50th anniversary, what the UN brought as a gift to him are two maps. You see, to show that these are two independent countries. The one to the right is the map of the Republic of Cameroon, whose president is standing right there. The one to the left, held by the gentleman in black suit, is the map of the British Cameroon, the first independent country in Africa, and telling him that you have invaded and occupied this nation. So it is not part of your own country. So when you look there, the UN recognizes it. But when I ask the question, everyone will be thinking that Southern Cameroon is the southern part of La Republique du Cameroun. That is its name at independence. So I just want to take this opportunity just to clear this doubt, that this problem should be treated at the international level. When the Western world look at it, it is a problem between two nations. So you cannot ask, when the Republic invaded us, when they talk, they will give us a special status. We don't need La Republique to decide our fate. We need the international community. And the US has the United States and 64 other countries voted for the independence of Southern Cameroon. And currently, the U.S. has actually levied some sanction on the French Cameroon government and withdraw military support. So there are bills in the Senate that have been passed condemning the atrocity on the people of Southern Cameroon. So it is, well, I thank the U.S. and particularly Lowell. The city of Lowell was the first city in 2017 to send a message to the world that they don't stand for this atrocity. And that was hailed by the BBC, interviewing people all over the world and actually recognizing the crisis in the Southern Cameroon, because the city of Lowell is a sister city with the economic capital of the Southern Cameroon, Bamenda. And I would say what the city of Lowell did, they are really a trailblazer condemning this injustice and the massacre of people in the Southern Cameroon. And the people of Southern Cameroon owe the government of Lowell and the people of Lowell a very, very huge debt of gratitude. And I thank City Life Show for providing a platform that has welcomed people from Southern Cameroonians from around the world to come and explain this crisis. Thank you, Cliff.
Okay. Stop screen sharing. We're back. So we're going to go from Cameroon to Cambodian Americans. It's good to celebrate all the different aspects of our community. I read something over the weekend about a small, I think it's 65-member organization in the Department of State. Their job is to deal with medical emergencies impacting American citizens around the world. And the guy that's in charge of the operation said that diversity is what makes them effective, because there is no single group that can build a consensus and therefore shut down innovation. So that, in my mind, that's what diversity is, when it is a bunch of different people with different ideas and bringing different talents to something so that you get something new. It's sort of like George Patton's line about staffs. If everyone's thinking alike, someone's not thinking. So, I don't know. I like that idea of diversity, of people being different and coming from different backgrounds and experiences.
What's the definition of diversity in your mind, Cliff?
Diversity is bringing people with different ideas, life experiences, and backgrounds together.
And the government's idea of diversity is bring all races, colors, and creeds together. Has nothing to do with ideas. That's my understanding of the government's definition of diversity.
I think that the government thinks that that will inherently create diversity of ideas. Will it, Fru, does it automatically create diversity of ideas?
Well, for diversity to be effective, there must have to be equality and respect for everyone.
Well, first, Fru, back up. What, in your mind, when you say diversity, what does it mean?
What?
In your mind, what does the word diversity mean?
Diversity means strength. That is, you come from the point of acknowledging that everyone is equal intellectually and morally and sophisticated, the same, not looking at them looking at them and classifying them by color or by race and bringing them and saying diversity, for some people to look down on them as inferior, just to project that they are more intelligent or more sophisticated than others. When once we say diversity, it comes in only to suck the other people so as to advance and not give them due credit, because some people are privileged in a position that they have the power to control. That is not diversity. Diversity has to come from a level playing field where everyone is recognized by their talent, by their culture, and respected equally.
Okay. George, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I always thought diversity meant different. So we're all different. We all have different ideas, and wherever we come from. And, you know, I don't agree fully with what Fru said. I think diversity is exactly that. It's differences. It's the difference of people.
Mike.
Well, I mean, I just look at people as people. I don't really care what culture or whatever they come from. I mean, I just, I listen to people. I see what their ideas are, how they look at things, and then I make up my own mind, how I see things. But I mean, I'm a soccer referee, and I work with people from all walks of life. And I've met people from all different countries, from different things I do. And the more I meet people, the more I see that people's values are the same, and they want to be happy in life, and they just want to, get along with everybody. And I don't see anything, I don't look at people as, well, I've got more power over this person or another person. I just look at people that, I like to meet all kinds of people because, like George says, they're different. Everybody's different. And from that differences, it gives you a wider aspect on how you look at life and everybody. Yes.
Okay. So there we are, a diverse set of views on diversity. I'd like to move on to the Summer Music Festival, because today's headline says the Summer Music Festival is coming back this year here in Lowell. And we can hear diverse music. Does the music festival give us different kinds of music? Or does nobody go to the Summer Music Festival?
I don't go. Do you go, Cliff?
George?
You go, Cliff?
No, I don't go.
I don't go either.
Fru, do you go to the Summer Music Festival? You're my last hope.
Well, I do. I mean, just like the folk festival, that is part of diversity, because those music is culture. That's how you build that aspect of respecting things that are different from your own, music that is different from you, and then from there you get to know the people. Not only seeing the people, but culture is an embodiment of who we are. It is our identity, as my father used to say.
If I had my choice between music and fishing, I'd go fishing.
So does that mean you're more of a private kind of person, George?
I think so.
Someone said that music is a universal language. You may not understand the lyrics, but the rhythm can move you to start understanding the language.
Okay.
The question I will ask is who attends the folk festival in Lowell? And good. And when you attend the folk festival in Lowell, when an African music comes, or an Asian music comes in, or Latino music comes, they sing in their dialect. You are dancing. Do you understand the lyrics, or your body gets into the tune and melt with the flow. That is what music is all about. You may not understand the dialect, the lyrics, but the rhythm comes into you in a very peaceful, relaxing mode, and that you join everyone to celebrate the differences in culture. That is what I said. Music and is a universal language. You may not understand the lyrics, but your system will gradually melt and go with the flow.
I think you're right. John, did you have your hand up?
No, I was scratching my head. Good, thank you.
George, any thoughts before we move on?
The thing that worries me more was the ship that was seized in the North Arabian Sea with all those weapons. They were Russian-made anti-tank guided missiles, Chinese types of assault rifles. Where did they come from?
Where was the boat going?
Okay. There's the helicopter deck of the ship, and a friend of mine who is a collector of military memorabilia says this consists of about 1,000 folding stock rifles, several hundred RPG-7s, that's a rocket-propelled grenade, but with no ammo visible, some SVDs, which I don't know what they are.
You don't know where that was going either, Cliff?
No.
Maybe they were smuggling it into Ambazonia to kill my people.
Or maybe it was headed for the gun Walmart in one of these countries that just sells them over the counter.
Well, a Cliff screen I see says that was seized off the East African coast. So,
that is so good for a peaceful world.
Yeah.
Where's the boat now that had it? Whose aircraft carrier we're looking at here?
This is a U.S. Navy destroyer.
They had it and they let it go through, or it got through.
I suspect that this is not the only weapons cache that was traveling around. And we don't know. Fru said, I'm going to stop the share now. Fru said it could be going to be used against the people in Ambazonia, or it could be going to help the people in Ambazonia fight off the French.
Well, no, you know what happened recently in a little country, one of the richest one, known as Equatorial Guinea. One of their commercial city there that exploded with ammunition. That was when the French were bringing weapons to fight Ambazonia with the French Cameroon, and they had the base there, the depot there. For some reason, the whole thing exploded. And guess who was the first people to arrive there? The French Cameroon Minister of Defense and the French army in another country before even their own country came. The whole area, the whole factory was down to ashes and about 50 people were killed.
No, that's not good.
Veritable scenes of an apocalypse welcome you at the Guantama military base in Bata. Houses shattered, armored cars totally burnt, weapons as sensitive as mortars and rocket-propelled grenades calcinated.
Ces armes sont très dangereuses puisque la partie orange, c'est l'explosif. Et avec les fortes chaleurs qu'il y a eu ces derniers jours,
on site are French military experts with experiences from Iraq, Afghanistan, and Lebanon. Attention, be careful where you put your foot, they tell Ministers Joseph Beti Asomo and Paul Atanganji. The site remains dangerous as more explosives buried in the rubble could potentially be fatal. They also say particles of these weapons could be found as far as 15 kilometers from here, thus the need to secure the site and also sensitize the local population to be more vigilant.
ça sera qu'un effort commun et surtout
pour assurer la sécurité, bien sûr, de l'ensemble.
Effectivement, il y a une composante hygiénique dans la délégation qui reste.
The French experts also gratified President Paul Biya for deploying Cameroonian military experts, for according to them, their contributions will be instrumental.
But we are really winding down to our final episode. I think at this time we may take a 1 or 2 minutes break again, and when we come back, we will talk about SCAPO and efforts to resolve the conflict, and also a way forward.
I go now to what the SCAPO's own contribution in finding a solution. SCAPO, first of all, took the position that the Southern Cameroon problem was a human rights problem. It was, first of all, a human rights problem. And SCAPO's contribution has all along been on the idea of the motto of the struggle, the
argument,
force of argument,
not
the argument of force. We believe in non-violent approach. We believe in a non-violent approach. And the Congress of the United States, only this year came up with a resolution, I think it's resolution 684, in which they call the international community to go into this problem in Cameroon and go even to their root causes and come up and try to find out non-violent solutions. SCAPO has worked all along with the idea of non-violent solutions. And the way we have done this is to embark on court cases. Court cases is one where if it's a fact, is it lawful? Is it a fact? Is it a law? And we have taken cases in several places. I think the first and foremost one was the case in Nigeria, in Abuja. Everybody knows that the case went well, and what the ruling was. When the ruling came out, I think from Kambe to Victoria in southern Cameroon, people were elated and shouted on the street and rejoiced. But if it went well, today we are still talking of the problem. So what was wrong? Very simple. The verdict that the court handed down in that case, we took the case based on the Charter of the African Charter, paragraph 20, sub 1, 2, 3, and the case went well. If the government of Nigeria had implemented the verdict that the court handed down in that case, I think by now we would be a separate country. By now, there would have been no war. This was the whole idea. This idea was, if we go through the courts and the truth is heard, the verdict is implemented, we will avert war. But the good thing about the case in Nigeria is that it's still there on the table. It's still there. It can be taken up by any time a government of Nigeria sees that if it's a democracy and it respects the rule of law, it upholds the rule of law, wants to implement the decision of the court, This case will take, basically the case said that the court, Nigerian should take the matter of the Southern Cameroon matter to the United Nations and to the International Court of Justice. These are the two things that the court said in its ruling, and follow it up until justice is served. But till now, the Nigerian government, for reasons we don't know and we don't want to go into, have not implemented the decision of that court decision. It is not only that. It is not only that Scapo case that the court in Nigeria ruled. And we should make it clear here why we went to Nigeria. We took it with the African Charter charter, which we took the case on. We could take it in another African country, but we went just across to Nigeria because we knew if there's conflict in Cameroon, as it is now, Nigeria will bear the brunt of refugees and things like that. And secondly, we were part of Nigeria for over half a century, and we thought Nigeria knew our story well. If we say anything in Nigeria, Nigeria will know, even without us telling them. And the case went well on that basis. And but it is in the hands of the Nigerian government till today to take up the case at the ICJ, to take up the case at the United Nations, and this matter will be resolved. But we also went as a matter of human rights to the African Commission in Banjul. And there we took two important cases. One was in 2003, and that communication was on the human rights situation in Southern Cameroons, what the Republic of Cameroon was doing in Southern Cameroons about the human rights of the people. The case too went well, but when they gave out the verdict, we were not satisfied. We were not satisfied, and we made an appeal. The appeal was registered, and I don't want to go into the case, otherwise I will sidetrack again and get lost. So that communication 266/2003 is something that is online. You can go look at title of the case. The case is named after the leader of Scapo, the first leader of Scapo, Dr. Kevin Ngumni versus the Republic of Cameroon. All the two cases. The second case is called Communication 337/2007. And the second case was on the violation of Article 4B of the African Charter on boundaries at independence. On boundaries at independence. Those cases, well, it's a story that we have not reported to the people, but when you ask it like that, we want to educate people, we say it ended inconclusively. When I say inconclusively, is that when they finished the case, especially the second case, 337, it's like the one on international boundary.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear Cameroon signed the treaty,
The one when you say international,
the African Union.
Could you clarify this point when you say international boundaries? What could you clarify that to those who are watching or listening?
Yes, what I can clarify. Look, the African Union based in Addis Ababa, okay? That is the regional body for Africa, okay? Now, in the treaty that members sign before you become a member of the AU, in that treaty, they call it Constitutive Act, AU Constitutive Act. In paragraph 4, it says that you are recognized international boundary. All states who are member states of the African Union, you are recognized international boundary is that boundary that you had on the day you were given independence. That boundary on the day you were given independence is the recognized international boundary. It is frozen on that day. You cannot change it, or if you have to change it, at least you sign treaty, you do the normal things that states do. If, for instance, La Republique is claiming that we are part of La Republique, then there should be some document, legal instrument saying that Southern Cameroons and the Republic of Cameroons have merged. They have become one country. They have joined and they are now one country. So the boundary of that new country called whether Federal Republic of Cameroon is now this one, and this international boundary. Well, there will be a legal instrument showing that boundary, the two parties have agreed to merge and the boundary changes. What we are arguing is that there's no such treaty. There's no such till now. So between us, let me just land. Between us, between Southern Cameroon and the Republic of Cameroon, there is an international boundary. You don't have a country anywhere in Africa where there is an international boundary dividing the country into an international boundary that is valid till today, signed by international treaties. The decree of President Biya cannot alter that international boundary. So when we went to the case, that second case in Banjul was that the Republic of Cameroon had violated its treaty under the AU Constitutive Act by crossing and annexing Southern Cameroon to be part of his country. Short and simple, let me just land and say, the case where the judge did, they took a decision which we don't have till today because the whole file was missing. It's an embarrassing thing to say, but this is the fact. And SCAPO communicated with the commission many things. We said they should find the file, which is missing. If they cannot find it, they have the powers to reopen the case and adjudicate anew and give a new verdict. We made it back and forth, but they said, well, we were speaking like angry people. We had a right to be angry. It's natural to be angry. So the story ended just like that, that the files were missing. This is what I can report to the hearers. But that is Banjul. But we think in SCAPO that non-violent options for ending this thing, whether going to courts is still one option we should not give up. You see, in something about self-determination, they will frustrate you, they will delay you, they will show you different things, but you have to keep on.
When you say non-violent in solving the problem, we shouldn't give up. I'm confused, because we are already entrenched into violence.
Okay.
They brought the violence to us.
Not initiated by us.
Yes.
We are in violence defending ourselves.
Yes.
That must be emphasized every time. Okay. The violence we're engaged in, we are not the ones who initiated it.
Correct.
We are defending ourselves.
Yes.
And we have to hold that front. We have to. It
Yes.
is legitimate, it is justified. And
Yes.
we have reached the point where one of the things I thought the leaders outside should do boldly, since the international community now understands that we are not terrorists, we are not secessionists, is to buy arms openly, or to ask for armed countries that are friendly to us to give us arms to defend ourselves. We should do that. We are not terrorists. We are fighting to defend ourselves. Right. Yeah, but you can defend your, while that is going, what I'm trying to say is that the matter of non-violence can still go on. It may come through that and stop the killing. It may come through that. Yes. You know, I forgot one thing that SCNC did. I can say SCNC and SCAPO, because I was at the heart of it. And now I am SCAPO. In 1996, we sent a 9-man delegation to the United Nations to file a petition against annexation. A 9-man delegation. When they came back from the United Nations, they toured the whole southern Cameroons. We toured the whole southern Cameroon, all the divisions. And the enthusiasm that greeted the idea that we had gone and told the United Nations officially that we had been annexed and United Nations was taking action, was that we wanted that enthusiasm to be frozen, to be documented in some form and preserved. And so what we did in 1996 is that we conducted a referendum. We conducted a referendum in southern Cameroon. We ourselves, we organized a referendum. We conducted it, we call it, it is called Mandate for Independence, or signature referendum. And we told ourselves that we ourselves are organizing and doing this. We should conduct the election in the tradition in which our own colonial experience brought us up. That is, there should be no cheating, no fraud, no... can I go on?
Yes, but yes, the noise is coming from, I don't think, maybe from your...
Okay. So we conducted a referendum in 1996. And the thing about that referendum is that other referendums have been conducted since then. Okay, there's another one that came up to say about 84% of the people want separation lately. Another one conducted by the Cardinal, which said about 70%.
Yes.
Nearly 70% want separation. The one we conducted in 1996 is different. I was at the heart of that one. And I chaired the meeting the executive meeting that published the result and wrote the report to the United Nations. That one was different in many ways. One, in the number of the people who voted. These other ones, the Cardinal's own, for example, 1,000 people were consulted. No, our own in 1996, those who took part were 315,000.
Wow.
315,000. It was 75% of the election, official election in southern Cameroons by the government of Yaoundé. And we were able to muster the 315,000 people to sign and say yes or no about being part of the Republic of Cameroon, and to put their signature or their thumb, preferably. We said you can use your thumb, even if you know how to write, because we wanted to do something that was typical Anglophone, not somebody telling us not to cheat. And we said that the result of that plebiscite, we told the United Nations that at any time they want the originals, as you ask for ballot papers, will produce it. And what I'm saying today, if they want the result of that signature referendum, the originals, we will produce it. We'll produce it. It is there. 315,000 people voted. And we know the percentage was above 95. Yes, above 95%.
That is not surprising.
And the interesting thing is, you can look from the names, Francophones who are resident in Bamenda or Kumba and so on voted. They were told to vote. They voted about joining the remaining part of the Republic. We told them you are free. Nobody will harass you.
Yes.
They asked whether we were trying to make the government to come and catch them. We said no, nothing will happen to you. Speak your own mind, your own view. And the percentage today, how many of them voted that? We don't say Francophone. Those who voted, yes, they want to remain part of the Republic and so on. It's there. The originals can be found. No, things have been destroyed in this war and so on, but that one is somewhere where perhaps only about three of us, know where it is.
Well, but that's for posterity and it should be
so
preserved
for the archives of our country, when it is free, it will be put there.
Well, so far we are winding down. So maybe you can share some thoughts as to how this conflict could be permanently resolved.
Yes, I can say that we have worked all along. SCAPO has worked all along with cases, I have said. I didn't mention the one at the Human Rights Council of the United Nations, because that one is still there on the table. It's before the council. So I will not talk about that one. Once a case is still in court, it's not good to talk about it. But SCAPO believes that the first non-violent thing that we ought to undertake, all of us, all groups ought to be talking about it, is this matter of a referendum that I was just talking. We ourselves conducted a referendum in 1996. If a neutral body like the United Nations conducts an a referendum on the what is the problem in Cameroon, and conducts the referendum for the people of Southern Cameroon, exclusively for the people of Southern Cameroon to determine their future, I think it's an option that we should not, we should take up. It is a controversial option among all the groups. Some groups say, no, referendum, Biya will come in and sweep it the way he has been winning elections. No. Want to say that this point on referendum is important because it was started. It started by not SCAPO, not any group in Southern Cameroon. It was initiated by President Biya himself. We only stepped in as SCAPO to an SCNC to say, yes, we agree to that proposal. But we said, President Biya said it in Paris, answering a journalist's question. He said that he'll go back and that this thing in Southern Cameroon is just by a little minority. And he was prepared to conduct a referendum to prove to the world that the vast majority want a referendum. And when he landed back, we wrote saying, yes, we accept a referendum. But it should not be conducted by you, because we know the track record that since you came to power, when you announce an election, you will win. So let us get a neutral body like the United Nations, because after all, that is where our problem started, to come in. That referendum is for the people of Southern Cameroon only. You are not part of it. You, your government, your governors, your prefects will have to clear to your own side of the country. And the United Nations comes in, conducts that election, that referendum we are for. And today we stand by that. Today, SCAPO stands by that. And we ask our other group, brothers and sisters, this is one non-violent option that we should talk about it without fear. If we are if BIA has not escaped back, recoiled from that referendum, what we should be telling the international community is when there's a disagreement between two parties or problem between parties, one way of solving it is to look for common grounds. The idea of a referendum first initiated by President Biya, accepted by the people of Southern Cameroons, let the United Nations come in and conduct a referendum purely by the people of Southern Cameroons. We don't believe in SCAPO that actually that President Biya has any role to play in settling our matter. No,
because it's an international matter.
It is not a matter internal to President Biya's government. Biya is not part of the equation. His government or country is not part of the equation. Our matter is started at the United Nations. It is the United Nations to come in to that territory, the United Nations Trust territory, and solve the problem by conducting a referendum and asking the people to participate in deciding what the future of the people should be. And that is why we did not go for the Swiss talk. We did not oppose it either. But what we said was that we saw it as a long road to the answer. We are not discouraging it. But this is Britain itself, our administering authority. They made a referendum to join the European Union. They were part of the European Union for many years.
And they have also through Brexit.
And they went into a referendum to
leave. Yes.
To leave. Why not we? Why can't we? Yes, if we're part of that union, agreed that we join them. It is not an accession. If we join them, we can also leave. But let it be the people to decide. If you say they should go and drag Biya in and let them go and negotiate, what we in SCAPO did not participate is that we think that it is easy to corner small people. First of all, how many people are going to go for the talks, the dialogue? Well, a number of people. Those people are no group now in Southern Cameroon, including SCAPO. No group is an elected group of the people. Yes, we are formed group to fight, which is good, to organize yourselves to fight or to struggle. But you are not elected by the people. In a referendum that is conducted, you are asking the people themselves, let the whole people, the whole population decide. And the referendum has the advantage that all those opinions, whether it is federation or it is separation or it is union, that we should merge with them or what, will be accommodated. Let them all come and participate in the referendum. Yes, will not refuse. But let it be United Nations, let the people of La Republique leave, and we go in and everybody tells his story. I'm saying that we should form a federation because of this reason. Please vote for federation. I'm saying that we should be a sovereign country, govern ourselves. I'm saying it for this reason. I'm saying that we should unite, merge with La Republique and be integrated for this reason. Leave the people to decide.
I mean, you've just actually turn on the light on me now to ask you a follow-up. Well, about negotiations that the people have not elected anyone to represent them. So, well, at this crucial moment, there will be third-party groups or nations that would be saying that, calling for talks or so. How do we select those who will talk on our behalf? And what credibility, what mandate do these people have to go and decide our fate? What do you...
The point. This is the point.
I mean, you are talking to them. You are talking to... I'm asking you, I'm bringing you to share this. I mean, you are one of the living people who were there before any of these so-called leaders now, and most of them grew up during La Republique. They don't know the Anglo-Saxon type of governance that you grew up, that you have well articulated here. Most of them, they are but seeking for publicity for themselves and putting themselves in front. And from what my limited knowledge have seen in them, they put themselves first than the struggle. What would be your advice for criteria to selecting those who will talk on our behalf? Because we have spent so much life, and our people on the ground are the ones who are holding the mantle for the international community to recognize us, not we in the diaspora.
No, this is just what I have said to... Just what I have said. I'll repeat what I have said. Look, if you select a few people to go and do dialogue, that dialogue is not something that... another thing is, let us take that we select 20 people, 25 people to go and represent us. You know, let us be honest. It is easy to corner a small group like that somewhere in a luxury hotel and corrupt them within a short time of, say, they are doing dialogue for how many weeks. And let us be honest, it is easier to corrupt a small group like that to come out with a decision that we know what La Republique did now at the beginning of this struggle.
Yes.
They were held dialogue with teachers, the representative. They held dialogue with, and they wrote minutes from Yaoundé and brought for these people to sign that this is what took place, and they refused. Typical of Anglophones, they refused, and they turned and arrested them as terrorists. Okay, so, and we know, as a matter of fact, and we don't fear to say it, that twice in recent history, Cameroon has been classified as the most corrupt country in the world, one first, 2 times. So if we say as a fact that it is easy to hold a few people and corrupt them, we're not saying that we're saying that that is a possibility. Leave the people alone and go direct to all the people. Let all the people be involved in deciding to solve the problems themselves. This is what I'm selling to my colleagues, leaders, to my brother leaders. Let us speak with one voice that we want a referendum. The United Nations should come in as a neutral body and solve the problem of its trust territory, British Southern Cameroon, with a referendum.
On ground zero.
If they say the United Nations conducted another one, well, we say, well, Here we are here because in that one they refused us a third alternative and forced us and made something that even neutral people who worked in that referendum in 1961, that plebiscite, like one British man who was official of the plebiscite, he wrote a book about the Southern Cameroon plebiscite, and he describes the plebiscite. He walked around Womb area, and he describes this was a cosmetic thing about democracy. So this was not genuine. So you are asking the people to do a plebiscite on two things, none of which they want. So joining Nigeria, we didn't want. Joining Cameroon, we didn't want. We wanted independence. And this British man, very honest, wrote in his book. So we will say that even if whatever happened, even if we voted to join them, Britain too joined the Union, the European Union. They conducted a plebiscite, Brexit to leave. Why can't the United Nations conduct a Brexit-style referendum in Southern Cameroon? Why? Why the different standards?
Well,
so I'm trying to convince my fellow leaders that we should speak this with one voice. This is one thing we should speak with one voice, because we lose nothing. They will give us time to educate our people. BIA will not be involved. In fact, in all the decisions, whichever, we don't see in SCAPO where BIA comes in. We don't, because we are not part of that country. We are not seceding. We have never joined. We have been annexed. Yes.
Pat, thank you very much. And if I am of the current generation, which is Generation Alpha, and if I listen to what you have said correctly, I would say that if I am one of the leaders today, the only alternative that is available to us is go to ground zero and conduct a referendum and let the people voice their opinion.
Right.
And that
the people themselves decide.
In the not too distant, just few years ago, within these few years, Britain has equally demonstrated that, and the UN has, the whole world has watched it. And we were a British territory. We are taking from our master, Britain. And that it should not be a group of individuals that will go and sit in a hotel or in a neutral country, as many people are advocating out of Cameroon. It should be conducted by the people who are dying on the ground, and it should be, as they are playing it now, by the bullet. Now it should be by the ballot.
Right.
To determine their fate.
Yes, that's why political question is solved, not by guns.
Yes, that the peaceful way to do this by our Anglo-Saxon reasoning is that La République, as usual, l'État c'est moi, invaded us by the battle of the gun. But we want to resolve this, according to what you are telling us, by the ballot, not by the bullet.
Yes.
So we put these two alternatives, which defines our two nations.
Right.
La République by the bullet. We, the Ambazonians, British Southern Cameroon, by the ballot.
By the ballot.
That is the option that if there is one thing that you leave us with as the future for us looking forward to, as you have mentioned, that SCAPO is the force of argument and not the argument of force, and that the force of argument is through non-violence means. And by that non-violence means, we push forward to end of dispute by the ballot and not by the bullet.
Thank you. Thank you.
So on that note, I would say this is wonderful. And I started this discussion by saying that history is based on records of the past in arts, painting, and oral, and in writings from a unique viewpoint or angle. Each point of view should be complementary to create a true and comprehensive account of what really happened in the past. And as I again said, if there is one person whose life spans 5 generations of our struggle for independence, that person is you, Papa Augustine Ndambang. You are a living embodiment of the silent generation of 1945. Papa, you are our great-grandfather, our father, and our mentor. And what you have demonstrated on this discussion, you have made us, me in particular, come to the conclusion that the fight for this struggle is a relay, and you are passing the baton for us, this generation, to know that if you don't know where you are coming from, it will be very, very difficult to know where you are going.
Right.
And you have told us that we are coming from a stable and one of the first democratic countries in Africa, and we are heading to Boya.
Right.
And Boya is where we started, and it is where we will end across the Mongo, on the west side of the Mongo. So on that note, Francis, you are our technician, and you have been listening quietly. It will be a disservice to me to end this August interview with Pa without asking if you have any remarks.
No, Pafro, I have no remarks. I just wanted to thank our grandfather for the lesson. It's an invaluable lesson that he's shared with Southern Cameroonians. And being of the new generation, or you can say the millennial, it's really wonderful to see your father and your grandfather having a wonderful conversation. I do not want to interrupt because the synergy that you guys had was one that I think it was better I listen and take notes. So thank you both.
Thank you too. Thank
On
you.
that note, I will say, Pa, you've done your job. We have the baton, and we have the legs and the energy.
Right.
It's time for you to sit and see how far we will run.
Right.
And when we get to Boya, you just come and join us to celebrate.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching African Hour, and the battle continues till we reach Boya.
Thank you.